Jason here from Birchland Trailers in Enfield, Connecticut, and we just wanted to put this video together. Maybe you're somebody who has had a trailer in the past, or you're brand new and you've never had a trailer, never towed with a trailer before. This is something to kind of get some information about how to safely hook up the trailer, some quick safety tips. I got 4 of my most important safety tips to make sure before we head out on the road and safely commute with a trailer attached to our vehicle. So check these out. All right, everybody, so the number one thing on the list you want to go ahead and check out is going to be your tire pressures. You know, maybe the trailer's been sitting in the yard for a little while. Maybe it just hasn't been used for a little bit and it's on a lot somewhere. When you go to pick it up, you always want to make sure that you check that tire pressure. Go ahead and right here on the sidewall, the tire is actually going to tell you what the tire recommends. Now, obviously, this is going to be different based on what type of trailer that you have and what the capacity of the trailer is. But you always want to make sure that you take a look at that, the number that they recommend as far as the tire pressure on the side of the tires, and make sure that you do have them fully inflated to that number before you head out on the road. All right, everybody. So this is, out of everything, you want to make sure that these things are all taken care of as we go down the list. But even though this is number 2 on our list, I'll tell you what, this is the most important. And if you are brand new and you've never had a trailer hooked up to your vehicle before, it is very important that you follow some of these safety tips. So we're going to talk about hooking up the trailer to the vehicle itself. Couple things. First of all, you want to make sure that you have the right ball on the hitch itself to accompany whichever trailer you're carrying. A lot of the homeowner type stuff is going to be a 2-inch ball or maybe a 2 5/16 inch ball, but you want to make sure that you have the right ball. And the reason is because that ball is going to sit up inside of the coupler here, and you want to make sure it's got an exact fit and it's tight so that nothing happens as far as the trailer coming off while you're driving. So let's talk a little bit about this. If you can kind of zoom in here a little bit, the first thing is that the front of what we call the tongue is going to be our coupler. Okay, our coupler is what's going to actually sit on the ball itself, and then we have here what's called a coupler lock. Okay, so now once I make sure that the coupler is fully secured on the ball, which I've already done as you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and click this down and make sure that my coupler lock is locked. Now that's very important as well, because we want to make sure that the coupler doesn't have an opportunity to jump off the ball while we're driving. Okay, the next thing, and it seems kind of silly, sometimes people don't put the pins through here, but there's a safety pin, a spot here on every trailer where through the coupler lock, you can put this safety pin in. Okay, this might be a little bit bigger than what we need here for this trailer, and it is, but it looks something similar to this. You want to make sure that it's through there, latched completely over, and the reason is because as you're driving, if there's any bumps or anything you're hitting, it's not going to open up. This could obviously accidentally, see how easy that was, that could accidentally kind of open while you're driving, and we don't want that to happen, because then you run the risk of having an issue with the trailer coming off the ball. Okay, so that's one of the first things, and I wish I had that prepared in order to show you the right one, but unfortunately I don't. But you want to make sure that that's in, and you want to make sure that your lock is on there. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is right down here at the vehicle, we're going to make sure that our plug is plugged in properly. Now this happens to be a trailer that does not have electric brakes, and because of that, it's going to be what they consider a 4-flat plug, which we have right here. So we're going to go ahead and safely secure that to the vehicle. Now with this type of trailer, because it doesn't have electric brakes, that is going to be what controls all of our lights on the trailer, so that while we're driving, we make sure that people see where we're signaling and what's happening. Okay, so I've got the coupler locked in, I've got my pin in, even though you don't see it here, it's there. We've got our electrical hooked into the truck. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is make sure that we have our safety chains attached here to the vehicle. Okay, now a lot of people do these differently. Okay, but what I like to do, and this is a trick that I like to do, is I like to cross, and you want to give it a couple spins so that you've got a little bit of room in order to turn safely, but you don't want to have too much hanging. And the reason you don't want to have too much hanging is because you don't want to run the risk of catching it somewhere while you're driving. Come up to a curb or something like that. See, if I let this go, to give you an idea, if I let that go all the way, that's got a big hang there, and there's certainly the potential that I hit something that could actually pull that, and we don't want to do that. So If you give it a couple twists and you make sure it's up there, that'll give that safety. If something does happen here, this is your safety chain, so to speak, right? So that it will keep it attached to the truck. Now, if you have a trailer that has electric brakes, which I don't have here as an example, but if you do, you've also got a small safety wire that gets connected to one of those chains. And the reason why you do that is because in the event it does pop off, it could actually, stop the trailer from just rolling into traffic and hurting other people. We don't want to do that. So, and then the last thing that I want to talk about here when we're hooking up our trailer, you want to make sure that your jack, if you have a jack on the trailer, you want to make sure that that's all the way up. Again, it's another area that we could be driving and potentially snagging on something. So please, I know it takes a lot more to kind of crank it all the way up to the top, but make sure you do that because you want to keep yourself safe and you want to keep other people on the road safe. All right, everybody, number 3 on our list, we got to make sure that we take a look at our trailer lights. Before we head out on any type of trip, we want to make sure that we've got all of our blinkers working, our brake lights, and our hazards. And that's very important. Just like everything else is a safety thing when we're out there on the road, you got to make sure people can see you and know what you're doing. So make sure you take a look at those lights as well before you head out on that trip. Okay, the last thing on our list is going to be cornering. Let's talk about this. So if you are new to having a trailer hooked up to your vehicle, whether it's a car or truck, you want to be very cautious about how you're turning and how you're making your corner. So when you're driving by yourself in a vehicle and you don't have anything attached to you, obviously your typical corner, the back of the vehicle is going to follow where you turn. And the trailer is going to do the same thing, okay? But it's going to have a much tighter turn. You can see here in this example how my truck is and the way that the trailer is. So even though it's going to follow the direction I'm turning, you do want to be a little bit wider around some corners than you might normally do, and just be cautious of that. So maybe hook up your trailer if you are brand new, get to a parking lot, do some turns yourself, maybe throw some cones out there. But look, it's very important that you stay safe for your safety and for other people on the road when you're driving your new trailer. All right, everybody, hopefully that helped. Again, if you're brand new to driving with a trailer and you want to learn how to hook it up, hopefully that was the video that kind of helped you out and give you some pointers in setting up your new trailer. Look, we appreciate everybody coming to our channel, birchlandtrailers.com. If you are in the Enfield, Connecticut area, check us out. Hit us up online. Again, birchlandtrailers.com, 860-698-0099. We appreciate all of you for watching.